I'm Vic Myers. Welcome to the Resistance. So if you're an American football fan, you'll get the reference. If not, I hope I make it clear. But imagine you just scored a touchdown, and if you kick an extra point, then you tie the game and go into overtime. If you go for two, then you win the game outright. Now, the coach that does that, it doesn't matter which way he chooses, the extra point or the 2-point conversion. If he wins, he looks like a genius. If he loses, even after overtime, then he looks like an idiot. So, with that analogy in mind, I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to say that the Supreme Court case today on TikTok is going to go in TikTok's favor. You see, everybody and their brother in all the major media networks and all the other creators, they're all convinced that it's going to go against TikTok. But I listened to it. Did you know you could do that? Just go to Google Supreme Court audio and boom, you can listen to the cases. You can listen to a bunch of old cases too. Anyway, I listened to it, and my takeaway is that this case has absolutely nothing to do, this law rather, the TikTok ban has absolutely nothing to do with national security. Now, I know there's those who say, it is, but they can't tell us why. And there were briefs that the plaintiff wasn't even allowed to see because it was national security. But when you take in the whole argument, it sounds to me like it's nothing more than the oligarchs who control Congress so much. They said, pass this law because there's all this money that TikTok is making and we want it. And that's what the law is about. But in listening to the arguments, in particular the free speech pieces of it, I can't imagine if the conservative justices actually stick with their originalist theories and adhere to the Constitution, then I think that it's going to go in TikTok's favor. As a matter of fact, I would not be surprised if it was a unanimous decision in TikTok's favor. Now, having said that, the oligarchs do control a lot, right? But there was one very troubling part. I think it was Gorsuch, because when you're listening, you can't tell who's speaking. I think it was Gorsuch who said, what if the president just says that we're not going to enforce that law? A Supreme Court justice said that, as if it was okay that a sitting president can unilaterally decide which laws should be enforced and which ones shouldn't. That's how we got here today, folks. I told you the other day that I like listening to the Jefferson Hour, and from all those hours of listening to Clay Jenkins tell us about Jefferson, I'm under the impression that if Jefferson could have been in that courtroom listening to the arguments, he would have been just incensed that this law even exists. And two, if they don't rule in favor of TikTok, then Jefferson is going to be turning in his grave like crazy. And speaking of things that would drive Jefferson crazy, today, our next president is officially 100%, wait for it, a felon. You can't say he's not a convicted felon because he hasn't been sentenced, because now he's been sentenced. And I'm quite certain that would drive Thomas Jefferson nuts too. For context, the reason I say that is because during the 2020 election cycle, I was listening, and in Clay Jenkins's opinion, and again, he's the foremost authority on Jefferson, he thinks that Jefferson would have been against Biden running in 2020 because of the appearance that the whole Hunter Biden thing brought up. So I think in this case, having a convicted felon as the next president would just send him over the top. Anyway, had to get that off my chest. I'm going to go in and have dinner now. Good day.